During the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a significantly decrease in numbers of applicants at volunteering organizations. Those programs are desperately seeking volunteers as those positions have opened up again after the pandemic. However, missing applicants leave those organizations and depending members of the community struggling. I am joined today by Megan Conway, the CEO of Volunteer Canada. Megan, since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, a significant decrease in volunteers affected community members across the country. What do you think is the reason to why people do not take a higher interest in volunteering any longer?
I think the pandemic shifted how people participated in many ways, and that I think returning post-pandemic to regular life has meant that people are now turning back to those services that they may not have utilized in the pandemic, right?
And is that because of the inflation, rising cost of living, or any other related issues?
People make a decision about volunteering for all sorts of reasons, but if they have to work a second job, or if they're, needing to make sure they have enough money for childcare and for food, they may not be able to drive to and from a volunteer opportunity, or they may not be able to, they may not have the time.
So what are the long-term consequences for the affected organizations that are struggling right now?
Up to 65% of nonprofits and charities have identified a challenge in the recruitment of volunteers, and that 35% of those surveyed also have indicated that they've had to reduce their services because of the limited numbers of volunteers they have.
So we know about shifted priorities of people now. However, is there a particular reason as to why the number in volunteers decreased?
Data has shown us that seniors are more reluctant to return to volunteering because they're most concerned about health and safety issues, right? So that's a big shift also since the pandemic, for example.
And what have we actually heard from those affected organizations? What are the consequences they have reported, and where do they cut short in terms of their services?
We're hearing anecdotally from members like Girl Guides, for instance, that they have to wait up. Young people or young girls who might be interested in joining a Girl Guide program have to wait for up to 2 years before they can be placed in a group. So we're talking about this as a crisis in volunteering, where there's both a limited number of volunteers or a declining number of volunteers that exist alongside increased need in services. So it's creating a greater challenge for sure.
And what is your opinion how these organizations will keep up their services, and what could their future be like in these difficult times?
I would say that organizations are charities and nonprofits are extremely creative, and that they're doing the best they can to operate within the limitations that they have. That being said, I think they're having to strategize around what the future looks like and having to be strategic around if they need to close programming, where do they do that, and how do they do that with the least amount of impact. Those aren't easy decisions for organizations to have to make. So I would encourage folks to think about ways they might be able to do that.
Okay, great. Very informative. Thank you very much, Megan. I am also speaking to volunteer Nanya Garza. So Nanya, tell me, why did you decide to become a volunteer?
Well, it's great to help and makes you feel better because you did a good deed for someone else that has depended on you and your support.
And why would you encourage others to do what you do, being a volunteer?
I would encourage people to volunteer more because, it's for a cause. Imagine one of your relatives is in need of help. You will want anyone to help them too, right?
Absolutely. So, thank you very much to you as well. And for everyone interested, you will find plenty volunteer opportunities under langara.ca/volt. That is VOLT. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Niels Rummler for the Langara Voice.